Ah, plastic scrap like that always comes in handy. The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Wiz while you're here. Let's see. It's better to go forward than just keep coming back. Toxanol's mining led to mass deforestation and increased global warming, as nature couldn't absorb the carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions without the trees. These irreversible changes to the climate also contributed to the evolution and modified our genetic code. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Wiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A surge surf factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo and clogged it all up, that is. The thicker the surf became with goo, the more the machinery clogged up and stopped working. Like most things from the bygone. There are sure to be more tracks around here, maybe by the shore. Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go, but says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. It was a tragedy, but also sad that you chose to leave. It's a miracle you made it on the outside on your own. That land is harsh, they say. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. Ultimately, it's your choice. You were the one to be wronged and have lived with the consequences. He believes in consequence as it's a direct result of action. Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem. Says they're unified in the ways that matter. But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-going. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up mecha fingro in the mecha stadium that still has one stuck on its back. Find it, and you'll find the tug twister. He found it stranded on a shore nearby and got Gizmo to help tow it here so they could get to work on it. Toxanol probably made it to go under surf and see the damage they've caused for themselves. The end is coming to the world, and everything else. Let's see. You found a bric-brac that's not absolutely flat. Don't want to point a finger, but the Mecha Stadium is near here. The world is full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Stay away from that biohazard. You'll want to wash yourself off. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators, and you need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. A pause place. Probably cleaned out, but you never know. He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick. Well, he means slick as in greasy, so you can lube the hinges of the lid. He can't argue against the fact your fur's shiny. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Choo-Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow. He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The Merc Puff is crunching bark by the minute. Wants you to think of it as a black tar spritzer. The dead zone is full of that slimy black goo. It's good for fuel, but it's also slippy stuff. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wing nut to get back on track. Wing nuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugga-chugga out there. The challenge is taking them off, so he's happy you're here to do it for him. Says he knew you would, like he knows the way the rails run. Take your time and enjoy the daylight. The Wingnut Chug Tunnel. It goes on forever. How far does this underplace go on? Wrecking fest. Give him a hand. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Whatever you do, do it right, or don't do it at all. There they are. Now, catch them. You fixed those flame flies fast. Choo-Choo says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason, but he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free. He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck. He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart, in case of emergency. It's on the cart. He wants to keep it close by. In general, you won't have much time to act in case of an emergency. Choo-Choo says you should help yourself to the grease sprinkler. It's a versatile tool from the bygone, a last of its kind, so don't let it go to waste. He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need greasing to open. Seems glad you think so. You're on the right rail. Choo-Choo says he can't wait to get out of this place. Says goodbye to you. You shouldn't worry about smashing up the box. Choo-Choo has no use for it now. Choo-Choo says he feels strongly about helping his next, just like you did for him. He's convinced there was a bigger reason you met. Sometimes the wrong train will take you to the right place. He believes you've got what it takes to make a difference. He's witnessed it himself. Says fate is like the rails. They lead in certain ways, and you can only fight that for so long if you want to get anywhere. Choo-Choo says he's ready to pack up and leave. Understands you have other places you need to go. There are tough... Wiz says that there's no plan to confront the Merc-Puff until the octopod is properly armed. He's happy to tell you that the cannon he's been working on now just needs ammunition. He says his old friend Boom makes all things that go bang. There's a rumor that some of Boom's pyro sticks shot off and are out there roaming free. You should keep an eye on the horizon for pyros. If you're fast, you have a shot at catching some of them before they go off. Boom has named the place Puff Duff Bluff. It sounds silly, but it's an accurate description considering most of the pyros are duds, seeing as they're as old as the old world. Everything seems to take longer at night. That's a bang plant, where toxanol used to make all sorts of splody things before it blew up in their faces. There they are, now. You fixed those flame flies fast. Those are the kind of things you need. Always good to have some wood scrap like that on hand. That looks like an unbanged pyro stick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off. Good to be able to get stuff done while the world is awake. The pyro sticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you. At least now you have a chance to hurt the merc puff where it counts.
Niinam estämät karada putuvekan tövlinverai.
He hopes so, as there's no Plan B, or more correctly, Plan C. Out of Date has named this Plan B. Plan A was to take on the World Eaters by foot, or flaps in this case. Turns out swimming down there was a bad idea.
Mallo anja panvalaga. Niinam estämät karada.
Wiz has been working on another cannon, but instead of pyrosticks, it squirts guppos. Scaly distractions for anyone with an appetite disorder, and irresistible for the merkpuff in particular.
Terium avar ilatu vietu. Niinam estämät karada.
Seems the best way to find guppos is go talk to Gil. He has a natural sonar and knows where the guppos sub the surf.
Jedem.
This means you'll have to go visit Gil at Burblebottom. Find Gil and he'll be able to tell you where to find the guppos.
Ne antumpo nikarapu.
Guppos are lively beings, and they're fast too. They're here, there and everywhere. Or at least they used to be. Someone has to end this plague before it's too late. Let's see. This is Burblebottom, residence of Gil. Happy to finally get to meet you. He's seen a lot of things wash up on his miniature shore, but nothing as exciting as you. Claims to have been born swimming, but he must flap-flop clear of it during these dark days. It must have been upstream only to get to this point in your histo-future. But which way are you going now? With the flow or against? It's crazy hard to flipper against the surf, but you can't save the world if you let it sweep you away. Either way, it's a shame the surf has gotten so nasty. Thinks life is like trying to ride a wave. You need to pick the right one, but you don't really know which one that is until you're on top of it. Better to ride a wave than let the perfect one pass you by. Seems to him that there's always another wave coming along. Can't imagine how wonderful it's going to be to surf on gooless goo. The world is going to live. Can't thank you enough for fighting against the goo. Happy you ride alongside the Myriad. They bring a real shine to everything they work with. Thinks that's an excellent point. Riding is life. Work is not nearly as fun. But none of that's nearly as important as enjoying the day, right?
Must fish with which...
He never drank from this pond because of the disgusting things done there.
Fest and trip.
Even the fish stopped drinking here after the pollution made the surf mucked and the air blocked his gills.
Right where the cloud saw. Main crowd on a fair.
He figures the Tree of Life isn't drinking either. Or, well, that's not true. He said it does drink, as it has no other choice. It's a tree, but it's forced to drink poison. Says that hardly matters. Even if he could have once, who can now?
Panguail matter to yon Godway Foundation.
His friend Wiz needs guppos for one reason or another, and Gil is ready to point you in the right direction. But here, you're only going to find dead ones. He's pretty sure Wiz wants them alive. Well, at least the ones that aren't already rotting. If you head in the right direction, you'll find a clean enough bit of surf to snag yourself some guppos. Then you can get them to Wiz for whatever he has in mind. Helping both you and Wiz makes him double happy. There they are. Now, catch them. A bric-brac that's still standing. Now, that's a find. The cranks need to be unturned in the right order. This place can be dangerous. This is Guppy Grotto. Just a few moves left. Make them count. The underworld is like a whole new frontier. not open. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Probably a lot of things buried out here. That seems to be enough guppos to provide the octopod with infinite ammunition. He's surprised the Merc Puff's been able to hold its breath all this time.
Jumalan uskos.
It's just another proof of the evolutionary change caused by toxanol's contamination.
Tarium avar ilato vieto.
Being undersurf has meant the merkpuff has been left alone to munch on the root down there undisturbed.
Niram estamat karada butuveganan töflin verai.
This means the northwest route has suffered more damage than the others.
Ambatia bomba. Anupavam nigrachopo.
He's sure there's enough time to confront the merkpuff, but he worries if the world has enough years left to last his lifetime, even if you stop the world eaters. There are places up ahead far worse than this. That was the last of them. You've sealed the fate of the tribe and the tree. It's time for the end game. You have your destiny. Follow it all the way back to Out of Date. He never told anyone about what's next, but he's sure it involves you. Just continue to stay true to yourself and respect others whatever happens. You've become their pride, the guiding light of the tribe. It's time to return to the tree one last time. Wiz knows it's the same old, but he likes talking to you. Wouldn't be surprised if you met again. There's a lot more space down here than you would think.
Mpa, wherefore, where, Dolidrea, ia maoloa.
Out of Date says the signs of the end of the world are everywhere. It seems nature is preparing to take revenge.
Fabobe, muk kofar.
The day of reckoning is coming, and you are invited. He can feel you're approaching the end date.
Loa tolu dum.
If you haven't decided whom of all like-minded, light-hearted beings you've met have earned a seat on the Ark yet, it's time to do that now.
Farfarifto, tuka kubu, ba lo yualu.
Then grasp your last chance to make sure Lupa Lupin stopped for good. The tree settled its score, but it left yours half done.
Weta gonoka nuka nuburak.
He says you need to see Lupa Lupin eye to eye one last time.
Maotoliawahu.
He's happy to help.
Miami.
Says you'll meet again. Morning is breaking.
Papa, by the frame?
The Sifu is seeking revenge too. He hasn't forgotten what Lupa Lupin did, but he also wants to stop him from attacking his tribe.
Kera ka thinking hiram.
That the world seems to survive doesn't mean he must.
Dere vuru husa hat. Wala, Papa.
He hopes you agree, even if it goes against your light-hearted nature.
Kera ka thinking hiram.
There's no room for predators in the world the Myriad tribe is building.
Brita.
But he knows this is your fight. You should handle it. Lupa Lupin's own fear was his shackles, not the roots of the tree. It just changed it. You have a chance to stand back and let the tribe handle it. The Seeker is ready to step into the fray. Are the odds about to change in your favor? If a friend dies, something inside you dies. You can save the Seeker by making yourself a target. You're Shockwaves spread when the world crumbles. This is not a prophecy, me telling you about the future. It's you shaking it. Here's a vulgar display of power. step, the stronger you become. It's time you remember who the real enemy is and stop playing the game his way. This is how it ends. The Predator and the world itself suffering. But at least it's a sign they're both still alive.
So, what we have here is a clear matter of life and death, and only you can make a difference.
You continue to make bad decisions and mistakes. Oh, it never ends.
It's easy to make a good decision when there's only one option. The only mistake here is you.
My mistake is letting you speak. My conviction is that the world would be a better place without your voice.
Convincing yourself doesn't win the argument. In the end, we won't remember the words of our enemies, but the silences of our friends.
The weak can't forgive. Forgiveness is a strength. It's not all life and death. It's no better time than now to accept a helping hand. Do you wonder what turn life might have taken if you'd done things different? A left when you went right? A yes when you said no? You've walked the thin line between survival and disaster and haven't lost your balance yet. It's because of you the Tree of Life and the world has been given a second chance. You carried the light in a world full of dark and made a difference in a place that needed change. You allied with the Myriad tribe and acted on understanding of the greater good and a code of honor. However, light and dark does simply represent the polarities of life. One can't exist without the other. This isn't the end. Just being surrounded by nature as it heals itself will rejuvenate us. Nature will teach us how to survive. So, trust your conscience to show you the way, and everything else will follow. As foretold, you were destined to split the chains of this world. But you're not alone. You filled the Ark, and those that shared your perspective and gained your trust will accompany you on your journey. Is there a world out there that's better suited for those imbalanced in their light nature than this one? Whether or not, we'll leave your story on record, so those who come after will know you followed your light nature and saved the world. So, when all is said and done, it turned out to be an unusual ending after all. What could be better than ending the story the right way? Ending it your way, a beginning of something new.